What if you lived in the Mushroom Kingdom and you were not Mario or Luigi?
But I'm just like a mushroom, like going
just
to work.
a normal random toll place.
I have a shop.
You have a shop in the house. You just wait around and nobody ever shows up to your shop. And then suddenly Luigi comes running in and jumping around like a madman. Like, stop jumping in my shop. Take this mushroom and get out.
I got 3 treasure chests.
Yeah, which one do you want?
And if you look at that from his perspective, it's probably like, this is just how you react to the Marios, is that they're like a pest. And it's like, well, I can't talk them out of not taking anything, so just take one.
YUNKJunk!
Hey everybody, welcome to Tubby Talk. Today we are talking about games we wish for, wish list games that maybe don't exist. Today we're actually playing a game that did not exist. You could not play this on consoles for the longest time. This is the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, which was definitely on my wish list forever. And I'll go right into it. I wish there was a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 that maintained classic.
Yeah, the art style of the...
Where you just added 1,000 more characters.
Yeah, I was really turned off by 3. I forgot there was a 4
Yes.
that came out.
Yeah, Infinite, right?
Infinite,
People
yeah.
didn't like it, right?
Yeah, there's actually somebody doing paying out of pocket a streamer for a remaster. I mean, not remaster, people to mod the 3D characters to look like the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 characters, which is only halfway there. I still wish it looked like this.
Me too.
But it would be impossible to make them look like this. But at least they don't look like the monstrosities they looked like originally.
Yeah.
They're like
that's
stock
right.
Unreal Engine characters or something. It looked weird. But yeah, oh man, yeah. When I was a kid, all I wanted was a superhero fighting game.
Yeah.
And then when X-Men Children of Adam came out, I was like, I need them to fight Ryu.
Which is on this.
And then X-Men versus Street Fighter came out where Wolverine's fighting Ryu.
Wait, that was your first like dream, like wish game?
Yeah, like literally, I would just
And
sit
you
there.
got it.
Yeah, I was just sitting there playing X-Men like, I wish this was... they could also fight the Street Fighters, and then they did.
Did you play any of the terrible superhero fighting games like the Justice League one?
I never played the Justice
League one is so bad.
There was one on Sega Genesis. They were modeled after superheroes, but it was like original creations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of it.
Was it an isometric fighter?
No, it was a 2D sprite fighter. It was just, they were analogs of Marvel and DC characters, like very clearly.
Really?
Yeah, and
Like an Ultraman? Well, that is a DC character.
but it was just very bad. I'm going to have to stop interacting with you and look it up. Only because I can't remember the name at all.
So these are fulfilled wishes I'm hearing
yeah,
now. Like,
I mean,
you
that's
got these.
what's so interesting is, and the one we're playing right now, this is wild. If you get a chance, there's this dude, Maximilian dude. Max dude.
Yeah, he's the one that's paying for the Marvel vs. Infinite mod.
His reaction to this announcement is one of my favorite things on the internet right now, because Nintendo Direct like stealth dropped this thing.
Yeah.
Which they've been doing a lot. Oh, again, Nintendo Direct gave me my ultimate wish list game, which was a remaster of Mario RPG.
Oh yeah, you got it. Did you play that?
It's on this Switch that we're playing
Nice.
right now.
Yeah.
I am choosing to stream it, which is very difficult. So I'll only play it on Saturday mornings while I'm streaming it here at YUNKJunk.
Eternal Champions was the game that I was thinking of.
Oh, I remember that.
There was like a guy that was like a Superman analog. There was a woman that was clearly a Wonder Woman analog.
Mm-hmm.
It was all very bad and clunky.
Well, I feel like maybe some of this is because we have reached the demographic now where we are being pandered to.
True.
We are in our late 30s, early 40s, got disposable income in theory, and it's like, hey, these are the people that we want to really attack their nostalgia glands, right?
Do you think that's what it is?
I think that's a lot of it. Yeah.
Are we at the age where like our parents would see like, you know, the VH1 commercials for like albums that they liked?
Yeah. No,
like
totally.
Monsters of Rock.
Yeah,
My personal favorite, Monsters
I will
of
stop doing
Booty.
this, sorry.
There's one called Monsters of Booty that would show up every once in a while. I was like, that's amazing.
That's a real bad.
No, that's definitely a thing that's happening. Like, and you see like who's doing the big stadium shows. It's like, oh, it's Green Day. Okay, it's Blink 182. It's like these things that rose to prominence in the 90s, right? And they're the big acts.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Ew. So so that's why?
Yep.
That's why my dreams are coming true, because
Yes.
I'm in the driver's seat.
It's exactly right. You got you are the addressable market. Congratulations.
So, okay. So, well, let's get into it, because a lot of my dreams are coming true.
Yeah.
For some reason. What was a dream of yours that did not come true yet? What is one of your wish list games?
Well, all right. So I'm trying, maybe staying out of the sequel stuff for now. I always wanted a game where you had a light gun. It was a side scroller where you also controlled a character and you shot at the enemies.
Oh,
clever.
So I thought that this would be perfect on something like the Wii, right? Where the Wii had, you had the Wii remote in one hand and the nunchuck in the other. So you could actually walk around using the joystick, side scroller style, but shoot at enemies with that. But I've never seen a game like that. Sounds fun.
how would you handle enemies being like behind cover? Would you like not be able to shoot them until you could see them? Like
but maybe you like to run up and melee them to like take their shield away or something, and then you could shoot them. Like, there's a lot of possibilities with this. Like you double tap to like dash at someone. You got two buttons on that left hand.
You know what's crazy? I feel so uncomfortable about just controlling side scroller movement with one hand.
Yeah.
That's why I'm immediately rejecting. Is like I'm like I don't think I can do that. Like, how do you jump?
Yeah. Well, you jump by hitting one of the shoulder buttons.
Okay, so it's a nunchuck with a shoulder button?
Yeah, this feels like a Wii game then.
Well, then, that's what I'm saying. A Wii game, if I'm thinking of the Wii specifically.
Be honest, it sounds like a power glove.
But yeah, I mean, the nunchuck has two shoulder buttons. One could be jump.
It
one
does?
Could be yeah. What? It's two shoulder buttons on it.
The nunchuck.
The nunchuck on the Wii.
What? It does?
It absolutely does.
How do you hit the other one?
There's two. You have two fingers.
Like
The
this.
nunchuck you hold like this, don't you?
Yeah, you hold it like this, and where your index finger rests is one, and
I
Vertically.
don't remember that at all.
yeah, there's a C button, and I think the other one was labeled ZL or ZR or something like that.
You're not talking about the Wii U.
I am talking about the original Wii. The nunchuck definitely has two shoulder buttons.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that idea.
Either that, or you do Street Fighter style up as jump.
I just wanted more.
Yeah, you don't need to aim with up. So
Right.
What was the game that you were incredible at in the arcade?
virtual on.
Yeah, I just wanted more of that.
Well,
Like mech
They
battle.
didn't make
So,
more.
there was more on PlayStation 2, I think, like specifically. Like PlayStation consoles had the virtual on games.
Well, but they were kind of.
and there was a
really?
Dreamcast version of the arcade one. And then there were sequels on PlayStation 2.
I saw things like Mech Assault, where it was like mechs, but it was more, I don't know, actiony.
American style.
less, like,
instead of weird
fighting.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, more mech stuff would be great. Like, it feels like for as much as there's been made of that, it's not explored enough.
Yeah. There's 5 Mech Warrior or 6 Mech Warrior games, which is the mech game. And there's only 6 of them over 30 years. It's a travesty.
Where's all like the Gundam Wing games or something like that? They exist. You know what I'm playing.
Well, so there was a game. I don't remember who made it. It might have been a Double Fine. There was a game that came with, no, it was a Japanese game. There's a game that came with a giant controller that was basically a command center for a mech.
Oh, cool.
It was like a few $100 controller. It controlled one game, but it was, so that was like a first person mech game where you were in a mech, literally, because you had a 3D. Like,
it's funny.
control
You're
scheme.
bringing up something of, I think we all imagined that Sega full body controller would be attached to some sort of great game. That was one-to-one movement. It was like an octagon that you put on the
you
floor.
stuck your arms over the plane.
And it wasn't that at all.
The Activator, I believe it was called.
I think he had it in
Activator.
blank check.
Yeah. Was there a vest too? Like, or was that
No, that
combined
was
into two
separate.
different
That
things?
That was 2 of them. There was like the force feedback chest thing, which was before they had force feedback. So it was just like, we put bass, we put a subwoofer on your chest.
Wait, there was a chest rumble pack?
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't like supported. It was some, Mad Cat sort of nonsense, right?
Mad Cat sort of nonsense. The ultimate insult.
Yep.
But yeah, I wish there was a game that registered full body and wasn't Kinect, because that's not it.
Have you done any VR?
Not too much.
Okay.
Not too much.
Because some of that stuff gets real close.
Really?
Yeah.
How? Aren't I holding a controller?
Well, you're holding a controller oftentimes, but they also have sensors that just detect where your body is.
Really?
Yeah. One of my, so I've
We're
only
talking like Oculus.
yeah.
Okay.
One game that came out in the original, what was it? The Oculus Quest, which is kind of the most popular one because it's all self-contained. There's a game called Super Hot. Have you heard of this game?
I've not heard of Super
I've heard
Hot.
of it. I haven't played it.
Super Hot is a first-person shooter, sort of, but time only moves when your character moves. So if you everything's still, like you see a bunch of dudes coming at you with guns,
Yeah.
and like you can just stop still and move slowly and time moves slowly, or you move quickly and time moves quickly, so you can dodge bullets and you can pick up like a pot from the ground and huck it at someone's head, and then like move out the way. Oh, it's amazing.
Interesting.
I don't think I
hot.
ever realized that it was analog like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very, and that's where the fun is. So it sets you up in these like classic action like scenes, like action set pieces, and it's like, all right, go, live, survive. All you have to do is survive, and it's all about where you're moving your body and what you're throwing and what you're shooting. It's you would love Super Hot.
Probably. I'll have to play it.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting. So I think it's easier to wish for improvements upon games.
Yeah.
Rather than come up with a whole unique concept.
Less creativity required.
I guess
Well,
so.
yeah. I don't know, 'cause
I guess
yeah.
I'm just trying to think. It's like a lot of stuff was pretty great, and my only wish was that it was expanded upon or better.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you guys say is something you would want expanded upon or better?
I want, going into sequel world, a real, honest to God, reimagining of Chrono Trigger.
Oh yeah,
Because Chrono Trigger, I feel like it's kind of untouchable. Like no one wants to go in there because
Yeah,
it's
why would
so
you do anything to it?
It's well, but then I want more story. Like give me, and I didn't play Chrono Cross because I heard that Chrono Cross was not quite it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you play it?
No,
Okay.
I refuse.
Yeah.
you refuse?
I refuse. I will never play it.
Yeah, but something that takes maybe even the same characters or their children or
Well, only
some
Magus
expansion.
is in Chrono Cross.
No, what's your Luca is referenced or something in it?
What?
That's the only thing I've ever
But-
heard.
but
is
isn't
that
like
Luca
a
was
I think
character,
it's
referenced.
Shalia.
Shala, yeah.
Shala? I think she's the one.
But I would love like a modern, like take that same gameplay style, the same attitudes, the same jumping through time mechanic. And I think that's one, I don't know if Chrono Cross did it, but like jumping through time was one of the best parts of Chrono Trigger.
Now,
And,
have you seen the 3D rendering that was shut down
No.
where they were trying to give you your dreams? Have you seen it?
I have seen that.
It's
yeah.
incredible.
Oh,
Like you see Frog fully realized in 3D.
Yeah.
But I'm with you 100%. There's got to be a reason they haven't.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
they
can
have
only
released and ported that onto everything at this point.
unfortunately, Akira Toriyama's dead now.
Yeah.
So that's
and a lot of team probably just scattered to other companies and other projects. Some of them still work, I believe, at Square to work on like Final Fantasy games.
yeah, they're probably still making Final Fantasy games
Or like
and
the
your
Bravely games.
Yeah, the Bravely
Yeah.
Default, Octopath Travelers. All
Oh, yeah, that is supposed to be really good. The Octopath Traveler.
It-
Is that
it's
the one
good.
that's like 2D into 3D?
yeah.
It started that whole craze.
It's beautiful and really open and weird, but like I want that cohesive like focus on like a core group of characters and you follow them through an adventure. And most importantly, you go to the same locations in different time zones. So like that's really important, and it has to be smart about it, which Chrono Trigger was.
It was very smart in that even there were certain times where it was a different race of people living in the same town, which I thought was cool, whether it be the reptites or the or just the monsters. There's that one time in history where it's overrun by monsters.
Yes.
Um,
Or the monsters, and then in like the future, the present day, they're like, oh yeah, we've made peace with the humans, and this is just like our the monster town now, and like we got over the war from 400 years ago, which is great.
yeah, but remember it has the bad future.
Yes.
That is such an oh God, now you got me on.
Trigger cast.
Yeah, I mean that is such an interesting concept, and maybe it's just certain things you don't touch, I guess. But I mean, this is America. Come on.
I mean, they touch. I would say like the only thing that's similarly untouchable is Final Fantasy VII, but they are touching that all over.
They are touching it.
I mean, I actually like what they did with that. Like, I could see it reimagining like that for Chrono Trigger.
A blasphemous
As long-
reimagining.
as long as it wasn't three or infinite number of parts, like to be determined number of parts, which is my main issue with this.
Right.
I played the first one. I was like, kind of like this. I kind of fell off just because COVID happened, but I was like, I should go back and play it. And then they're like, oh, there's a second one. It's still like on the first disc. So they don't even know how many there's going to be or when they'll come out. And I'm like, I don't want to start a 30-year series.
Yeah.
But yeah, a Chrono Trigger like one-off of that style would be amazing. Or even if it's just filling in some possible eras of the game.
Yeah, because there's more places and questions you could take that whole series. Like you want to explore so many of those people. I want to know what happened to those groups of people in the future.
You can follow one of those groups of people. Maybe they have their own time adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, okay, there's a question. Do you guys think if you do like a reimagining of a game where it's the same concept, but a whole new cast of characters within the same world,
Okay.
does that give you what you want?
I think it does if it references like the world. Like if the gameplay,
if it feels lived in that
the
original world.
If they're like, hey, this is the same town, but like things have changed because time's gone on.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, not just like, oh, somewhere in this world, there's a bunch of people having a Street Fighter tournament. But here in Metro City, we're beating up the street gangs that are taking over the place, and our mayor's a wrestler. Like,
yeah,
they took place in the same universe, or ostensibly now they do. But back then, I don't know if they were planned to be the same, but they could basically have been the same thing, but they were just walled off in different gardens.
You know what's funny? You're giving me a new lane to travel in, which is wish list games that you got but wish you hadn't. For example, there is a Final Fight in 3D.
You mean like a 3D? Yeah. Oh,
and I wanted it.
Well, and you got it,
and it was terrible.
Well, did you ever play the Die Hard beat 'em up game?
I love that game.
That was 3D, and that was amazing.
Yeah,
and all they had to do with Final Fight was just copy that. And no, they.
What was the Final Fight 3D game? I never played that.
It was a Final Fight 3D game.
I would play it all the time on the weekends.
Oh, it was in the arcade.
Yeah, I think it was released on like PlayStation, I think too. But it was an isometric 3D beat 'em up.
Dylan, would you mind pulling that up on the other monitor?
But yeah, like back to
called Final Fight 3D.
They called it 3D.
Yeah. I'm saying, I don't know if
okay.
that's true.
I'm
but I remember
it
was horrible reviews.
Or it might be just Final Fight, the 3D one.
But that was something I wanted. The other thing I kind of wanted, I wanted a 3D Mega Man.
So and you got Mega Man Legends.
You kind of got it.
I never played Legends just because it was such a well, I didn't have the systems it was on at the time either. But it's also such a departure from what I wanted from a Mega Man game that I never bothered playing it. But on the topic of Mega Man, one of the wishlist games that is this quasi sequel, even in the same world, like you're saying, like the same world that was already set up in a previous game. Set up in a previous game, but is its own take. I wanted a Mega Man there
it is, Final Fight Revenge.
I wanted a Mega Man CRPG style, like computer RPG style, like choose your own adventure. Here's choices you can make in the world. You visit towns.
Oh, you want like a full-on story-driven
Mega Man game with like the
Shenmue?
Kind of, yeah. And like the power-ups will be built into like the choice system you can make in the game. Like you defeat a boss, you can get one of their two different versions of their weapon. You can choose also to recruit that boss as a party member instead of taking their weapon, maybe.
You want Mega Effect.
I want Mega Effects. Yes, thank you.
What's that?
That's a Mass Effect version of Mega Man.
Cool.
Because what I got was to tie in with that path that you don't want to take. What I got was Mega Man X Command Mission.
Yeah, that's where I was going to.
Which I remember I was so excited for the game. I bought a GameCube to play it. And I got the game and I started it and I was like, I hate this.
Oh no.
And then Mass Effect came out and I was like, this is what I want in an RPG. And but I never thought, I just wanted a Mass Effect version of Mega Man. Although slight tangent, back when I was into like online text gaming, I tried to design a MUD that was my Mega Man RPG game. I went so far as come up with like the combat system, how the upgrades work. And I was trying to make a mod for like the game I was already playing, but I don't know how to program anything. So when I got to the programming part, that's when I hit a wall.
God,
I have a notebook somewhere that's just like a D&D style gameplay system for Mega Man. I wish I could find it.
Oh wow,
it was perfect.
This was just a fighting game.
Oh yeah, this is a wholly different game that I'm thinking of. But even still, you would have been bummed out if you had Final Fight and then you got this.
It's that bad 3D too, where you kind of circle because there's a button to circle.
Oh no way! Can
like
you throw that
Tekken.
knife? Yeah, cool. And pick it up.
I'm thinking more like Ergies. Remember Ergies?
Oh yeah.
That was the second time we ever saw Cloud Strife. Remember?
I'm getting owned.
Cloud in a fighting game, and then you make it the worst controlling fighting game possible.
And then you called it Ergies. Like it would say that like it was cool. I'm like, that does not sound cool, man.
Here, I'll try and help you, Dylan. It's EHREGIZ.
Oh my god, it's something terrible like that.
There it was. Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Ergies opening PS1. That'll be just fine.
Yeah,
let's get a classic.
The definition of an arena fighter. You have an arena you can run around in freely.
Square soft.
Yep.
You have to like hold a button to attack in a direction. Like you can just hit attack and it attacks the enemy.
But all of us got it because we wanted more Final Fantasy VII and more Cloud.
Well, it's funny because they just put him in there. I don't think he has anything to do with this game other than he's in it to sell it, right? Like, Ooh, I don't even know what's the world of Ergies. It's not the world of Midgar, is it? Like,
Isn't it? I mean, is this the original Super Smash Brothers?
It's original version of that type of fighter. I believe it's the
like
first one.
Okay, so an arena fighter with a variety of characters, but it doesn't have like what other Square characters? It doesn't have anyone else from the Square world, does it?
No, but Kingdom Hearts came out in a big bad way and solved that problem where like it's just all Final Fantasy in there.
Oh wait, I like this Play-Doh looking 3D version of a Chinatown.
Absolutely.
Oh, like when this came out, we were all watching every frame of these cutscenes because we were like, I've never seen anything like this.
They look like pure rubber. I've never thought about that. I haven't seen these cutscenes in years. Between this and Killer Instinct, they looked great at the time. Now they look so bad.
Guy's just putting rockets in his leg.
Like you do.
No problem. Cat's not scary at all.
Wait, is this is Ergies multiple platforms? Is Capcom a part of this? Or just Squaresoft?
It shouldn't be. There's a guy that looks like
I thought that was
Adon.
Captain Commando and a guy who looks like Adon.
That'd be weird. I don't remember. Was it like, yeah.
This brings us on an interesting lane, and the lane I want to go down is modders. Modders have given me, if I want a game that has different characters in it.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, but the first one that did that for me was YUNKJunk.
Right.
Because it was based off of this model of the game that we're playing, but you would just suddenly get like Goku in it, who had never been in anything else. So they took it like weird animated, or like they would clone. They would take Superman from one of the Superman fighting games and
just change it. Yeah, they just reskin him.
So modders kind of started giving us all of our wish list, but there's still some that I want.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there. You were mentioning something about Kirby earlier.
Yeah, I was. So I distinctly remember the cool thing about Kirby, and specifically Kirby 64, was that you could get a power, but then you could get a second power and combine them for a third like mega thing. And I was like, there's a lot more you could do here. The world of Kirby is interesting because it's like powers galore.
Yeah.
But you can have an exponent on that if like the powers combine and give you different powers. And then what I loved was in Kirby Superstar, you got a move list. It wasn't just hit the B button, you get one thing.
Yeah, like
you had
each
multiple,
one gives you separate,
which I liked. And I was like, just come on, let's expand it. Let's make, there's an ice one, there's a fire one, there's, a bomb one, but start mixing them together and give me more. I was obsessed with power-ups.
Yeah, like I love a game that has like combo power-ups, right?
Mm-hmm. And you can combine them and they give you new adjusted powers depending on which combination
Kirby
you
hasn't
have.
done much of that as far as I know, but it would be cool if it's like, hey, I want a fighter bomb Kirby.
Yeah.
And
they did it in Kirby 64.
Okay, Kirby 64.
Yeah, so that was it, but then they've never done it again.
Yeah. And there's been so much Kirby since then. And
I am just, Well, actually, the latest one...
They didn't want to overcomplicate Kirby, so they kept
The latest one did a really good job of balancing powers and stuff and giving you upgrades and
you
things.
talking about Lost World?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
I did.
Did you 100% it?
I'm on my road, but no,
Okay.
I'm not there yet. Did you 100% it?
I did.
It's a good game.
It's a great game. And now there's a way to 100% it that involves going to like the armory or the arena or whatever. But when you do it, you start getting these crazy cool power-ups that you can get. You got to go to like the gotcha machine or whatever it's called.
Then they're
What are those
upgrading existing ones. I think it's a gotcha
So you
machine.
get the sword power, and then you get like the warrior sword, and then you get like the butterfly sword or something like that. At the end of it, you get this crazy cool outfit. And that was, I don't know if that was you guys, but that was my obsession of having to get the coolest thing, like whatever the ultimate weapon is.
Yeah.
And they started getting rid of ultimate weapons in games. And I didn't understand that. What do you mean not getting the ultimate cool thing?
Which one's the best one?
Right.
There's not really a best one.
No, there needs to be a best one.
Yeah. Huh.
So like Mega Man X, same thing. I wish there were more and more and more power-ups and things to get, and like that I could wield 2 Zero Sabers or something like that.
Yeah, a game that they were making but never came out. They were making a Mega Man Maker, essentially.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing,
like it was going to be, you can make your own levels in Mega Man and pick the style of Mega Man you were doing, and it never came out.
Like Mario Maker style?
Yeah, like Mario Maker style for Mega Man.
That was announced when I was working at an RPG, like in my notebook, and I was like, oh, that'll be great. I can put my ideas into practice in this game, and they never made it.
Mm-hmm.
And I threw the notebook in the trash.
Well, I love this lane. because now you're bringing up an interesting games you wish you got that you almost got.
Almost.
Oh yeah, things that were
StarCraft Ghost.
StarCraft Ghost.
I was so excited for that game, and then I was like, I like StarCraft. I like the StarCraft world more than I like the StarCraft gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you had that world in an action game, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, no, never mind.
And everything they showed of it did look super cool. They're like, look how awesome this
75%
looks, and then like
game.
tough.
Yeah.
Now, the most famous of these for me, are you guys aware of the almost sequel to Link to the Past?
No.
To the past?
It's in an issue of Nintendo Power. The planned sequel for Link to the Past, and there's concept art, was A Link to the Future. And it was Link.
That was in Nintendo
future.
Power?
Yes. He was wearing like
you thought that was like made
armor that came up and over the top. But it was like drawings and stuff. You know, it was concept art.
Do you see this in Nintendo Power? Or did you see it later?
I swear to God, I saw it in Nintendo Power. I mean, we're going to have to ask Dylan to look for it.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's one of those fakes.
Nintendo Power, A Link to the Future.
Yeah, I feel like Chris
don't remember that, and I feel like I would have remembered that.
He's missing a cornerstone of his memory.
I'm gonna die if this was a April 1st type thing. Nintendo Power, Link to the Future.
Link to the Future. Like, it sounds something a fan would make right there.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering. Like,
I want it to be real.
A Link to the Future.
And Reddit right there.
Prove your humanity.
Nah,
that's not it.
Some CG thing.
That's not it. But I swear to it is in a Nintendo Power issue.
Like,
you open it up and there's a drawing, and I distinctly remember he's in purple armor, like purple armor that came up over the top and looked future. Like it was not set.
And this was Super Nintendo times.
Yes.
Okay.
It was set in Hyrulean future.
This is starting to really feel like some kind of April Fool's or what if maybe though. Unfortunately.
Well,
but see, that does sound like a future.
Awesome. They told me about it. I didn't come up with this.
Like a technologically advanced Zelda game.
Yes.
Does sound.
Where instead of, you have a beam sword instead of a regular sword. Your hook shot is plasma or something like that.
A beam sword instead of a regular sword that shoots beams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the beam sword could shoot physical swords at full health.
Yep.
No, I mean, that sounds.
So that was one. There was another one, and this one was much closer to happening, but then didn't happen because of Sony. Have you ever seen the images for the Nintendo Ultra version of Final Fantasy VII?
No.
Yes.
And we never. Yes, exactly.
Was it going to be like a higher poly count?
It was like, well,
we could probably pull it up. This one I know exists.
Yeah, that one's real. But yeah, before like they jumped to PlayStation.
Before.
But it was
Nintendo Ultra.
Final Fantasy. Yeah, I remember being excited about that. Didn't happen. And honestly, like that game would be radically different without the CD technology. Like all of the pre-rendered cutscenes and everything, like they would not have existed. And this was all, if I remember correctly, it was like pretty softly shaded polygons. It was a lot more, I guess, kiddie looking. Like Final Fantasy looked before Final Fantasy VII.
I distinctly remember he was wearing like a blue hat or something like that, the main character. But I guess, what did that eventually become? Quest?
Oh, no, I hope not. Quest 64?
Yeah.
The most generic RPG ever made?
Uh-huh.
That one sounds like it's a fake. If New Year's Eve.
That's what I want. I want Quest 2, damn it.
Yeah.
Well, here's one that...
Quest 128.
Oh, Mario 128.
Other things. Oh, yeah, that never came out. But that was also never shown to be a game.
I know.
Right? Like, everyone talks about that. Like, man, I wish that came out. I was like, what would you do in that? You
would run around with 128 other Marios on a surface.
And you'd be bored in 5 minutes.
Probably.
The one back then I remember that never came out was Mother 3, Earthbound. The sequel to Earthbound was going to be on the Nintendo 64. And they had a lot of like video of it. And I remember being very excited for that and never came out.
I thought they came out. Or not that version.
But I think it's the same characters.
So yeah, they took the storyline and made a Game Boy Advance game, which is great. It's fantastic. but it's not that N64 game,
Mhm.
you know, which was 3D and all that good stuff.
You're also bringing up that was the same era where there was a sequel to Mario Paint being developed that never came out.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a 64 DD or something.
Mario
right?
Artist, I think is what it was called. But I remember there was like sculpture in it, and you could do like 3D animation and whatnot.
Oh, that would have been cool.
But well, it never came out.
I'm switching the game too. My favorite one.
Oh,
Oh, it's on free play. Even better.
that's awesome. I mean, this is what's really interesting about this is that this is your dream game, right, Steve? That's what you were saying earlier.
Superhero fighting
It's
game.
my favorite one. It's not my dream. My dream game was X-Men versus Street Fighter.
You got that as well.
Yeah, but then it branched off beyond my wildest dreams. All these other iterations that I'd love even more.
It turns out that it was a shared dream by many other people.
Thankfully, at Capcom, they had the dream. They shared the dream as well because then they made it happen.
I'm still waiting for when they just zap you in the game. You go inside.
You want a Captain N scenario?
I
happening?
do. I want a Captain N
That's a nightmare
scenario
scenario.
Yeah.
with a princess and a shitty Mega Man.
'Cause what you think you're getting is a Mega Man that's cool and fights for justice. So what you get is Mega.
Yeah.
It's one of the
That's a monkey paw if I've ever seen one.
Deke.
Hey, they're legends. They made a Spectre gadget. That's all they ever needed to make.
And they made the Super Mario Super Show. Whoa, holy moly, Chris. You know how to play this game.
Yeah, this game I know.
Okay, so question for you. How is the controls holding up? Is the speed there or is it?
The speed is there. Yeah, this feels great. This is awesome. Like the only thing is this needs to be played on a fighting stick to be best.
Yeah,
but
I was trying to get used to playing.
Is there a fighting stick for the Switch?
Controller.
Yeah. There's a
You're
bunch.
talking like
Joystick and
that
all
was
arcade
amazing,
style.
by the way. And you knew what I was talking about.
I knew what you meant. Yep, that's the thing.
I remember I had one of those for Super Nintendo and it was horrible. It didn't work well at all.
It wasn't the Super Advantage,
The
right?
Super
It was
Advantage,
something
'cause
else.
the Super Advantage looked hot. I never had it.
Yeah,
but I always wanted
The
it.
Advantage never played well. It looked super cool,
Can we
but
see
it's
what
like
that
there was
looks
no
like?
reason to ever
Super
play.
Advantage? I'm not
Did you remember
familiar with
NES
that.
Look up
Advantage
Super
one, which was like
Advantage
the
controller.
joystick with 2 buttons, but on a giant base?
No, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then Super Advantage, I think, is that with 4 face buttons.
You know what's crazy? I actually am realizing, like, I have done this before, like in elementary school, where it's like when it was like imagination time.
Yeah.
Of like imagine your big things. It would always come back. Yeah, I had that.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
you didn't
the-
like
that
it?
was your
It
official
looks
one.
cool.
Yeah.
It does look cool. It didn't work well. But I'll bet you that there was a Super Advantage knockoff,
Yeah.
and I'll bet I had the knockoff.
The
Made by
Cats
like
one.
Hori or something.
You know who's never going to be on anybody's wish list? Mad Cats.
No.
No, I wouldn't expect so.
Oh, we used to play, me and my friend used to play wrestling, the WCW wrestling game like N64. The loser had to play the Mad Catz controller, which is insult upon injury because it sucks. Like it physically was worse to play the game and did not work properly.
That was insane. You just pulled off a raging demon
and lost.
Nice.
Yeah, I felt
And
really
you lost
good
in an epic way.
and really bad.
Oh
at
my
the same
god!
time.
I mean, that's a great short because you're gonna
I was
see
glad
my
that you
face
caught the
reaction.
raging
I was like,
demon.
"Ah!"
Because it was like, did someone catch the
I was like,
raging
you did
demon?
it. You
Yeah, I
raging
was looking
demon.
at the wrong screen when it happened. Huh?
And you raging demoned it like without hitting an auto command or something. You just did it
Yeah,
and lost.
and lost.
Light punch forward, medium kick, high punch, right? Fierce punch.
I think that's
Or,
it.
or like now it's light punch instead of medium. Not light kick instead of medium.
What was annoying?
It used to be,
so
I
this
think,
game
medium.
kind of nerfed the raging demon because it was always original like instant kill. Sakura did not die when I raging demoned her in this, and I was like, right.
That is the nerdiest, coolest conversation we've ever had. That, you know what that was like? That felt like that epic moment on the Capcom tournament, the Street Fighter tournament, where the guy blocks every single
Evo Moment
one.
37?
Yeah.
Evo Moment 37.
I believe that's
It's a number.
That's a YouTube
I've watched
title.
it. We've discussed that before on the show. I'm so happy I just saw that. That was incredible.
I think both those players is still semi-active. One of them is an announcer, but the other one I think was just in like last Evo for like Street Fighter 6. Oh, they're definitely bringing Marvel's Capcom 2 back to the Evo stage this year. They have to be with it coming out on the collection.
Have they made a Marvel vs. Capcom 2? I'm sure they have. Is there a modded version of MVC2? With like all new people?
Not
and
of that
different
game
folks?
specifically, I don't believe. I know there's like
I'm sure there's a mood.
Yeah, there's a
Mugen
Mugen
version of some.
Yeah,
of
all the sprites are in the Mugen emulation system. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah, so you have mods of those characters with those fighting mechanics in a different game, but not of that game.
You know, it really all starts with like Windows 95 and being able to take things that were like proprietary and
pirate
and create stuff with them. You couldn't do that. Like when we had Nintendos, you couldn't just do that without actual mechanical engineering skills.
Yeah, having the ability to like kind of take things apart and learn how they work. That was the best part, right? Yeah. And I love that. And I miss that to some degree because technology nowadays isn't as amenable to that, right?
Yeah.
We got our walled gardens.
Yeah, but also it kind of is. In the digital sphere, you know, we're able to take things that are not ours at all and then take credit for them. I mean, look at Instagram when you put someone else's song over top of your slideshow.
That's true.
You know?
Or even worse, somebody else's song over your meme of something that you didn't make. You're sharing a meme with someone else's song shared over it. You basically paste
I thought you were saying like it's a meme of you that you didn't know that someone made.
That would be more creative than where I was trying to get at. This whole time, I've never stopped and looked at the background of this stage.
You've never looked at the background? This is great.
I've looked at it piecemeal and like while I was fighting.
The whole cooking show thing is pretty cool.
The screen says Heroes Battle Crossover Dream Match, like interspersed with images of all the great characters of Marvel and Capcom.
Yeah, but this is so perfect for what we're talking about right now because this was the dream. They made the
dream match. Yeah, they knew it, and they knew what they had. I wonder how many people wrote them letters. Dear Capcom, please make this crossover game with these two universes. Thank you.
Yeah, just think about like, wouldn't it be so cool if Luke Skywalker was in this? You know, that type of thinking. And they
LucasArts versus Mortal Kombat.
They gave it to us.
What if they had a LucasArts versus Mortal Kombat?
Well, they have that crazy Jedi fighting game. Are you aware of it?
Terrace Casa?
Casa.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know. I thought that was a card game for some reason and not like an actual like fighting game.
It's a fighting game, and I remember playing it just a little bit. And every time like you would win with Luke, it's like, just like shooting womp rats back home. Like
that's not the right
dreams.
I don't remember how to get the secret characters.
I think you just hit down on certain areas or right on certain areas.
There's secret characters in this one?
Yeah, you get Orange Hulk, you get Metal Zangief.
That's cool.
I think there's a I think you even Ryu in this one.
So I guess a lot of the dreams as we're playing this crossover fighting game are about matchups, right? Like dream matchups.
Yeah.
Which plays a lot into our last conversation about statues fighting each other.
Yeah. Go back and watch that one.
But in this, like, I think we all wanted Goku to be in a like Smash Brothers in a fighting game of some kind.
In this would be great. As soon as Ryu shoots the big beam,
right,
for the first time, and you see it, it's like, okay, hold the phone.
That's the Kamehameha.
Yes, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
and it was this game that this is the game where for the first time it was big, right?
Yeah.
Obnoxiously big.
Yes, like the Shinku Hadouken,
it was normal size. Yeah, this one it was screen filling.
Yeah, because even this is where the first time you see those little cut scenes.
I don't think it's screen filling in this one. In Marvel Capcom 3,
it's not screen filling, but it fills half this. It's a giant beam. The height of Ryu. Okay. Yeah,
but even the fact that like the character pops out, like the character, there's the image of them that shows up, and then the super move. I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've seen that.
Yeah, it's
the cut-ins.
I forget if it's this or X-Men versus Street Fighter, like where they pulled that first. So you're going back to the same game.
Was it a versus?
Well, yeah, because I wanted to pick Ryu instead of.
I feel like I think it was a versus, or was it like an
Children
alpha
of the
game?
Atom? No, it wasn't. As
I don't
big
think
in Children of the Atom, but what? I don't know. Anyway, this is like this is a dream I wished and prayed for. This is a game that I literally drew in like a notebook.
It's funny though, because we want that, and then you think about, do you want the realistic version of that where like Goku beats everyone? Or do you want like a balanced version where it's like, it's kind of nerfed Goku? Like if you bring Superman into this game, Superman just destroys everyone, right?
Well, and now if we're talking about wishes, I want the option of both. I want something in the game that would allow me to, nerf everyone so they're equal, give everyone their powers, but nerf the power levels of them.
Yeah.
So that you can actually have a combat-oriented thing in which Batman wins.
which would be impossible.
And then
otherwise.
also let me turn it off, because the whole point of Superman as an idea is that he cannot lose. There must be a Superman, and there must be a way for him to win always.
Well, then
That's
I want
his ethos.
Superman versus One Punch Man. See what happens.
Come on.
we have no idea what kind of
Superman would win because he has to.
But One Punch Man cannot be defeated.
Well, he hasn't been defeated. That's the thing. Like Terry's saying, Superman, he's gonna come back from whatever you do to him, and he's pretty
concept
invulnerable.
of Superman is that,
I mean, the concepts aren't fighting though. The bodies of the characters are fighting. Like I totally agree with what you're saying too, but at the same time, like you can knock Superman out.
Superman's greatest
I think
power
that's a
is that
little
he
os.
must always exist.
Is that his power? He must exist?
Yeah. So like
Wait, since when has that been his
conceptually, always, because conceptually, actually, okay, there's a great
The
run.
90s would tend to disagree there.
No, he didn't die, did he?
The death of Superman?
That's because he didn't die.
And return.
Yeah, that's because he didn't die, not because he must exist. Was he kicked out of the source from beyond the source wall? If he wasn't, then it wasn't destined.
I believe he was.
It sounds like this really feels like
we have to look this up.
I'd have comic book arguments with my cousin John where he'd be like, well, in my team, I'm going to have Captain America because in this book it says Captain America's name is synonymous with victory, and therefore I can't lose.
That sounds like him on D&D.
It's like synonymous with victory. How do you beat it? I was like, well, this guy's invulnerable. Like, yeah, but he's synonymous with victory.
So there's
Victory can be subverted.
There's a 12-issue series that is a combo of where the Watchmen universe blends with DC. And the idea of that Dr. Manhattan, who's the big blue naked guy in the movies,
and omniscient
he is a god.
Yeah.
Is moving things around in the DC universe. Things are happening that you're not supposed to know about and whatnot. And it turns out it's him. But the ethos of that story is that Dr. Manhattan comes to the conclusion that there must be a Superman Prime in order for any of this to work.
Okay.
And so essentially what he does is he realizes Superman is the...
You're trying to say he's the underpinning of the universe?
He is the most important being in the universe.
Yeah.
And therefore, if he doesn't exist in one of the multiverses, it is doomed. So
yeah, it's a bad multiverse. It still exists, though. He's not required for it to exist.
No,
he's required for it to be non-dystopian.
That's what they're saying in the DC comics, though. It's like, you cannot have it if Superman doesn't exist.
But that's also a meta commentary in DC where they're like, well, DC would not exist without Superman.
Very true.
Right?
Yeah, but it's this different than saying he's hydrogen. If you take hydrogen out of the universe, it doesn't form. It still forms with Superman. Without Superman, it just ends up being bad eventually after billions of years.
Okay. Yeah.
Dylan, do me a favor. Look up DC Comics The Button, because it's the series right after The Button. And what sucks is it was one of those series that had horrible, horrible delays. So you couldn't get into it. But if you read it all as one run through, it's fantastic. Doomsday Clock is the event. I highly suggest read Doomsday Clock. It's very, very good. And get it from Giant Destructo's Hero Complex right down the street.
Right down the street.
Friend of the podcast. We haven't had one yet, but
yep. But there will be a Tubby Talk versus Cult Pop event coming soon.
Oh my God, that would be fun. Yeah.
I mean,
versus. It has to be versus.
I mean, that segment is something that I've been talking with Chris about, and off camera, off topic.
Yeah.
I want to watch Megalopolis. We could do a crossover with them where we watch Megalopolis and talk about it, maybe.
Have they watched Megalopolis, Dylan?
Oh, wow. Even better.
So we got a shot.
Yeah. All right.
Wrong one.
So, all right. So thinking again, though, of all of this crossover stuff, which, is wish fulfillment, right? We're talking about our hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
I do like when they try to make it, I would love a game where basically everyone is leveled the way they should be. So if Superman's in the game, you can't beat him. You crush it.
Yeah.
And some games have attempted this. Like there are the, I believe it was SNK versus Capcom. One of those games, different characters had different power levels. And so they would count. So they would. You could have. I think it was up to 3 characters, but some characters count as 3.
Yeah, you only have like 5 pips, and some would be like all 5 pips. And you have one character versus somebody else's team of 2, 2, and 1,
which was
or something like
super fun.
Was it SNK versus Tetsuoko?
No, although that did it too. It was Tatsunoko versus Capcom. That did it too, because there's like the one like giant robot guy who's like, oh, he takes up all 3 slots.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Which is great. Yeah. That's a great way to like normalize it to some degree. It's like, oh, this guy's stronger, but 3 of you together, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was SNK 1. There's 2, I don't remember having that, but I remember there like 2. Yeah.
Ryu was like had a ton of power in that, and then like there are the bit players and
but, it was 2. I remember the one guy from SNK like Rigel. He was like 5 star. His dark version was like all 5 stars. You only have one of him on the team. I think Akuma was the same.
An asymmetrical fighting game where people have wildly different strengths.
Would you rather fight 1 Ryu-sized Mega Man or 3 Mega Man-sized Ryus?
That's funny.
You can do it in this game, yeah.
Yeah.
This was a normal-sized Shinko Hadouken.
Okay. Oh, wait, were you Ryu or were you Ken?
I was Ryu.
Okay.
It was the size of Ryu.
It
wasn't double length. Double length was Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's what I thought Terry was. 2, yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Actually, I'm sorry. I think it's Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, let me go there.
Marvel vs. Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't screen filling. I thought it was just half the screen filling.
The screen was very zoomed in on Marvel vs. Capcom 1. It was like slightly taller than 1.5 characters.
It's right there. Well, right there. Yeah.
This one definitely had huge super moves. I mean, that's what it was like marketed as. That's what that big arcade system said on it.
Well, all right. So you were talking about you want to be in the game.
Yes.
So how does that work for you? Like, you just imagine like you're beamed, like you feel like you're in an actual place.
It's very much like you get buzzed in, beamed in, and it's like early 90s animation where you disappear and like a white light's over top of you because that's how you did masking back then.
Yes.
It's very easy. And you're in it and you have all the powers and it's very much like a dream. Right. But if you die in the game, you die for real.
Okay. So
yeah, no, I wouldn't want that. Yeah, see, look at the size of that. Well, just the regular fireball's huge.
Well, so the fireballs were big but flatter than this in Marvel versus Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm. And then do a Shinku.
Because
that's the ultimate dream, isn't it? To go inside your favorite thing.
It's still normal sized on this one. So it's 2 where it's like double the height of Ryu.
Well, they were trying to take you for a ride. It's a very nerdy joke.
So that there, I think VR is kind of what you want the ultimate.
I want
the end point of VR, right? You want to, you feel like you're there. You breathe in the world of that game.
Yeah, and you can enter it and hang out for a while. And
see, I don't know.
What's the Spielberg movie? Ready Player One. Yeah, the Ready Player One they put on the thing, but it's like all encompassing. It's not just like VR. So, yeah, I mean, essentially, this is how they get us into the Matrix pods.
Yes.
Is they exploit people like me who are like, plug me back into the Matrix.
Right, because all of those are always dystopias, right?
Yeah.
There's never like an immersive game world where it's like, and the outside world's great, guys.
Well, let me ask you a question on that. Are you guys Matrix guys? Like, do you understand the lore and the story?
Yeah.
Was there anything wrong with the future?
I mean,
was there any issue with everyone being in a beautiful little cradled sack and not knowing anything other than
you didn't have any free will.
In the Matrix, you did.
You thought you had free will.
Yeah, you had the illusion of free will.
No, isn't the illusion sometimes
so you'd be
the
best
thing?
I eat the steak and I taste the steak and it tastes good.
Yeah, I don't know what it tastes like. It tells me it tastes good, so it tastes good.
So you'd be the guy who'd be like, wipe my memory and keep me in here, make me a rich guy in the Matrix, and I'm happy.
Oh, I'd be fine. Yeah.
The whole problem with the Matrix in the universe is when you find out about it, then you're like, oh, I'm having an existential crisis.
Right.
If you don't know about it, you're fine. You're living your life. But once you find out about it, how do you go back to, I know this is all fake and I know it's not good. It wasn't started in a good place and just like took off. It started in a dystopian, we're being drained for life force by
Matrix is great for these philosophical discussions, right?
Yeah.
Like one of my first courses in college was actually a philosophy course about the Matrix. And I love that course. It was called,
Matrixology.
Something like
Neo-philosophy.
That's good.
But
also a wish list game that did come out, End of the Matrix, was pretty good. But Neo wasn't in it, so you're like, and then they released Path of Neo, and you're like,
The Social Construction of Reality. That was the name of the course.
Ooh.
It was great. But yeah. So I think if you think, being in the Matrix is fine, you can make it as good as you want it to be. You have free will in the Matrix. It's a very self-centered view, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you think about the world at large, all the animals are dead. All the people are enslaved. everything sucks. There are no plants on Earth anymore because the sun was blocked out by the humans.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, how did the humans block it? They never get into how the humans blocked out. That's a lot of mass to put out there.
No, it was
Just saying, it looks comfortable feeding pods.
Yeah, it didn't have to be physically blocking out. It was like a sheet of something, like a Dyson sphere or something.
No, it was like
it just caused a bunch of detritus to be in the air.
That's a lot of the world is big.
A couple of nuclear bombs can do that now.
No way.
Yellowstone, if Yellowstone explodes, that's going to happen for like a couple hundred years, I think. It'll just be dust in the air if Yellowstone explodes or when it explodes.
Okay.
Wish list games turned into dystopian futures.
Yeah. Because
careful what you wish for.
If the game's too good, you're not worried about anything outside the game.
What if you lived in the Mushroom Kingdom and you were not Mario or Luigi?
But I'm just like a mushroom, like going
just
to work.
A normal random toll place.
I have a shop.
You have a shop in the house. You just wait around and nobody ever shows up to your shop. And suddenly Luigi comes running in and jumping around like a madman. Like, stop jumping in my shop. Take this mushroom and get out.
I got 3 treasure chests.
Yeah, which one do you want?
And if you look at that from his perspective, it's probably like, this is just how you react to the Marios, is that they're like a pest. And it's like, well, I can't talk them out of not taking anything.
Give them stuff
just
to go away. Yeah.
One.
You make it a choice and they think that they can only take one because, but if they stop, they'll be like, I can take all of them. I'm a Mario.
I don't know.
All of the world is mine.
Immersive world, digital world's terrifying. Pretty terrifying to me. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I'd want it. Like, I don't think I'd even want to try it. Because it might be too. It's the same reason I don't use my phone very much.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I would get addicted.
Like a drug.
It would be like a drug.
Yeah,
and I would be powerless
and you know it's
to stop
designed
it.
for that.
Yes. And in fact, if someone was to design this immersive world, it would be to monetize.
Yeah.
Right? And
You're not going to have somebody altruistically making it to like, everybody can have an hour of fun every week, but only an hour. And as soon as your hour's over, you can't play it for another week.
Yeah.
Like, they would never do that. They'd be like, you can pay to play it more.
Oh, if they
you can mind your data to play
even
it more.
if they did do that, there would be people being like, hey, I'll sell you my hour, man. And like, all you got to do is give me X, Y, and Z. And there'd be people hoarding their hours and like.
Now just imagine a Ready Player One with a stamina system. I guess it had one kind of like because you had to stop and do bio stuff every now and then. What if you didn't have to do that?
No, I think you just like got a tube, man.
Just had tubes and diapers.
Yeah, tubes and diapers.
So that's what we're going towards.
I mean, I don't think in Ready Player One they address it specifically.
They did it in the movie, that's for sure. I was like, they should have diapers on.
I read the book.
No, there's an extended scene. They got cut out of the main one, but there's an extra hour.
They showed it in Apollo 13 where there's like, I pee in a tube. It's like, that's how astronauts do it. Yeah.
So
I don't remember that. That doesn't stick out. I must have blocked that out.
Yeah. They're like, they don't show you this one on TV. And it's the thing.
Yeah, there was a whole, actually something we were talking about a little bit earlier when I was distracted by, I got Hyper Venom. I unlocked.
I noticed that. I was like, how'd you do that?
Yeah, I think you hold some direction, but
I did it, but I don't know what I did.
Yeah, I did it. I don't remember what I did.
Infinity.
How do you switch?
Man, this really took some turns because now we're talking about like digital realities, whether or not dystopias and utopias. Oh, man.
He does multi hits.
Yeah, but dude, like we started with a happy concept, and it's like just from having unlimited wish fulfillment naturally leads to.
Oh, I think it does.
Yeah.
I think humans cannot be happy without pain and suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's because you're Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's like the whole deal, isn't it? But no, I
definitely
I know what you're saying, though.
But I definitely believe in the idea of eustress, of like you're actually going to be more depressed if you don't do hard things and overcome them, so that you can get eustress, the often not mentioned inverse of distress. And because eustress is good for you and distress is bad for you.
And I know you thrive on this because you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
And you wouldn't do this. Like there are easier ways to live your life to make more money, right? That you have access to.
Exactly.
And you choose not to do it because you enjoy that gauntlet to some degree.
Yeah, I mean it's just so funny that it's coming back to that Matrix thing. Mm-hmm. It's because I prefer a world of free will, which flies right in the face of what I said earlier. But I took a second to think about it, and it's about being the master of your own destiny.
Well, so that's before I got distracted by this. That's what I was thinking about to bring it back to the Matrix. If you're Neo, you're a god in the Matrix. If I'm Neo, I might not want a freedom fight outside the Matrix because outside the Matrix sucks.
Yeah.
Unless I want that eustress of having gone through distress of trying to liberate everybody else, and now I can feel good about having saved humanity. But then if humanity's living in a place where everything sucks and the only thing you can do is plug people back into the Matrix to get power to run stuff, just not machines this time, then it becomes even more dystopian. And I'm just thinking myself into like a deep, dark rabbit hole where if Superman existed, he would not free everybody from the Matrix. He would give them the choice to leave the Matrix if they wanted. I don't see him forcibly freeing everyone. The thing is, making them live in this crappy life.
Fake, I think he would break them all out because of what he represents.
He represents hope. So he wants people to hope in him. But if he let the world get to that state, what hope are they going to have?
And this, and now we can get over to Catholicism because Superman is really an analog for Jesus. And he would want you to have free will, but he's also one of those characters
Jesus doesn't want to have free will. I don't know if I don't think it's a controversial take.
No. Free will is for sure.
Yeah.
He doesn't want you to have free will.
I mean, free will is the basis.
The whole point was
fire up Bible man. We got to figure this out.
Well, no, like the whole, as I see it, I'm not a scholar, but the way I see it, the whole point is you have free will. Use it to do the right thing.
Yes.
Or else we will punish you.
See, I don't see that.
It's undercurrent, or else you'll be punished if you don't do the right. But you have free will to do the wrong thing if you want. You'll just have consequences.
Yeah, it's like the idea of I disagree with you, but I'll fight to the death, the right for you to do it. I think that's the whole point. Is brilliantly tackled in Bruce Almighty. Morgan Freeman says essentially like there's a part where he's trying to just force everyone to love them, and he says, "Well, that's not the point. The point is free will and them coming to you eventually,
and then it's so much sweeter."
Yeah.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
And then Steve Carell's like,
The movie was bad.
it's a great scene. It's bad.
The movie's terrible.
It's a good movie.
So bad.
It has the best drop of I've got the power that I've ever heard.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's some cheese there.
Yeah. We got to religion on our wish list games.
We really did, because we're talking about wish fulfillment and like what actually makes you happy. And I think if you get everything you want the second you want it, nothing feels good.
Yeah. There's a Twilight Zone episode about that for sure.
And there's the whole, I guess, thesis of The Good Place, the show, is basically like, well, heaven's boring. And eventually you want out because like it kind of sucks to get everything you want all the time. There's something about that struggle. And that's what I like about games is the struggle. Like I like bashing my head against Super Meat Boy over and over again because when I beat that level, and it was hard, right? I earned it. And if it's just like, oh, I put in the Game Genie and I beat the level, there's no joy in that.
You're not wrong. When you started Game Genieing or Game Sharking for the younger, you lost a little bit of it. You would play it like twice, and then
Terry, I hate to break this to you. Game Shark is not really for the younger generation because it's still 30 years ago.
It's younger than Game Genie.
Yes, by like a year.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
By a generation. Game Genie was Nintendo.
A console generation.
Yes. Okay. I mean, I don't mean to split hairs, but I think there was a Game Genie, a Super Game Genie, and then Game Shark for N64. The N64 is where it became a Shark.
I know Game Shark was a disc for like PlayStation.
Oh, I didn't know it was cross-platform.
So all of these Game Genie devices are wish fulfillment, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They're like, hey, we will give you what you want in the digital world.
It's in the name though. Game Genie, but yeah.
But it's like, hey, you want
your wish is our command.
You want to never die? You want to have every weapon? You want to just jump through walls? You got it, no problem.
You want a code that makes everything red for no reason? Here you go.
And you didn't play it, right?
Nope. You're right.
Did not hold your attention.
Nope.
Well, but that's the thing that's always interesting to me because like I have the same viewpoint you guys do on that, especially with gaming. There's lots of people that play games and cheat and are like, I'm having fun cheating, or they tell themselves they're having fun cheating. And I don't understand that mindset.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I put God mode on a Doom once. It was fun to fly around and not die. But when I play Doom, I'm not going to do that every time I'm going to play Doom. That's not playing Doom. It's in God mode. That's just, or like Minecraft in creative mode. You're not playing Minecraft. You're building stuff.
Yeah.
Just a whole different thing, but that's not playing Minecraft. Playing Minecraft is dying to exploding green things all the time. Or having pigs like push you into lava pits.
Creepers and
pigs.
So in your wish list game, in your wish fulfillment game, you would die. there would not be. It would not be.
There has to be a failure
mode.
state.
Failure state. Yeah. Well, so are we still talking about the digitize myself into a game or just a game to play?
We've gone everywhere.
Yeah, because in a game I'm digitized into, and you die in the game, you die in real life. No, I don't want it to have a death failure state.
Right. I want some sort of punishment though. Like maybe you have to be in a small box for a little while, like a physical small box, and you can feel how small it is for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that doesn't seem fun to me.
Yeah, but it makes it.
You do you. I don't want to yuck your yum. So,
well, here's a fun. All right, a thing I would love to have in real life, and maybe in this digital world, save scumming for real life, so that you can set a save point, do something,
but only
and then jump back.
But only go back like a minute or two.
Right, only go back like a minute or two. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right,
save.
I don't know if this is gonna work out, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah,
well,
let's see what happens if I do this. And you no. There's a movie or show that just came out this year about that.
Yeah.
A guy gets the ability to go back like a minute or 30 minutes in time or something like that.
Yeah, and just imagine like how many and arguably Groundhog Day is that over and over again, right?
Groundhog Day is, speaking about difficulty and stress and distress and eustress, that's the hard mode version of what you're talking about. Because you fail, you got to wait a whole day to get back to try it again.
Yeah.
You don't get to instantly try. So it's not save scumming.
Well,
it's
wait a minute.
like,
can he kill himself in order to restart the day?
He can. Yeah.
He does. Okay.
Yeah. He does, but still, like, you got to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's.
And I think somebody did the math, and it's hundreds of years he was trapped.
Yeah.
Minimum in order to like have gained all the skills at the proficiency level he had them at.
Wow.
But just imagine, like, you go through life, like, I'm going to ask for that promotion. It didn't go well. I'm going to jump back and try something else. Like, I'm going to ask this girl out. You're like, oh, it went great. Actually, I'm going to keep this real. Like, save scumming life. I would do that.
But I would create multiple file systems. So, like, I could go back to various parts. Like, you always save before the big thing that you might screw up.
You only have an autosave every 10 years.
Whoa, 10 years is a big jump.
So you can't go back to like, I did this career for 25 years. I don't like it. I'm going to go back to college, start over. It's like, no, you get to go 10 years back. Maybe you can leave and try your passion before you get too old to, become a professional tennis player or something. But you can't jump back to you were a baby and I'm going to do this with the foreknowledge of what might happen.
Yeah, but a 28 to 18 jump would be a good jump. That's a pretty
drastic jump. That's probably the most drastic one you're going to get besides like 8 and baby, I guess.
It'd be hard though, like
8 and -2.
I'm trying to imagine a point where I would get 10 years like down the road and be like, you know what? This sucks.
I want to relive over 10 years.
I want to go 10 years again. Like, sounds
that means you've been miserable for at least 8 of those years.
It has to be some kind of punishment. If you're able to save scum and redo things, it has to be some kind of either hard cap or punishment to stop you from just like, because there was a storyline in Marvel Comics with the X-Men about that recently, where somebody's like, oh, it turns out I'm a mutant, and every time I die, I get reborn and relive my life and remember everything that happened.
Krakoa.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, if you could do that, A, you'd be the richest person in the world because you would invest in all the technologies that technology stocks that skyrocket, or you would invent all the technologies.
Or you take out a bunch of life insurance policies on yourself.
Or not even yourself. Everybody that you know is going to die. That, it might be a surprise to other people. Like, oh, no, there's a plane crash. The guy that sang La Bamba, Richie Valens, died. Cha-ching. JFK got shot. Oh, my God. Cha-ching.
Okay, here's the counterbalance to it. Okay. You can save scum, but you age in your time frame.
Age real time.
Right? So you're still like, if you jump back
you gotta go back to high school as a 28-year-old.
Right? So you can't live longer.
Oh, wait. Is it physically live or mentally? Like, are you jumping back and you're...
I like physically.
Your physical 8, it's not...
Take another run, but you are physically weaker.
Your body's the same the whole way through.
So then the punishment is you jump back from like 18 to 8 and you're some kind of genetic freak that kids make fun of you because you're 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you don't care because you have 10 years of maturity on
You're going to die at like 60 instead of 70,
to 35, right? That would be a good jump.
Yeah.
Well, no, 55 to...
So it's terrible. Talk about 10 years span where you physically was still 35 to 25. That wouldn't be as big a leap as 55 to 45.
Also, do you get to take the technology back with you from 10 years?
No.
Like if I get Jack's arms, which I am going to get. When I go back in time.
It's Terminator style. Only organic material.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a radius around you to get destroyed too. So you can't even come back something. Yeah, you come back naked.
It's not save scumming at all.
Yeah. What? It saves scumming, but you get physically taken back.
See, I'm thinking more like
pause, because this is driving me I need to know this.
Yeah.
You are using a word save scum.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
yeah,
use a word save state. Why do you use save scum and where is it from?
It comes from like
quick save is what it's called in the game.
yeah,
Right.
It comes from like RPGs like Baldur's Gates and stuff. Might even be Baldur's Gate. No, it's definitely something before like Fallout, maybe the original Fallout, which is an RPG.
It's
Yeah,
basically
so, like, if
abusing a quick save system.
Yeah, if you have a game that has choices and decisions that are semi-permanent, and you have a quick save system, you do the
bad version of a save state.
It's a negative connotation.
You do the decision. You decide you want to walk it back. Like Baldur's Gate, there's dice rolls to do things.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3. So you do something. It's like, oh, I got to get a 15 or above to succeed. You get a 10. Reload to save to right before you roll.
That is save
Try to roll
scumming.
again.
Yeah.
It'll roll differently because it's RNG every time.
So I got save state from the ZSNES emulator.
Yeah,
That
you
was
can
the
use a
first
save-
time I ever got to play old SNES games and get through certain battles because of the F2, F4.
If you're save stating back
F2,
before the
F4.
battle,
Yep.
and then when you get messed up, you say, so you were using a save state to save
I
scum.
would save scum during Mega Man 7 and Mega Man X3.
Yep.
But in other games like Chrono Trigger, I was using save states because I just didn't want to go to a save area.
point.
It just
Exactly,
wasn't
yeah.
as convenient.
It's basically save state is a tool. Save scumming is the action you would use that tool for.
Yes.
Right.
The malicious.
Negatively.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of
abusing a
The abusive
quick
action.
save.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It would be fun to abuse that in real life. Like micro. Now, I'm not talking 10 years. I'm talking about like 5
micro.
minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, that also. How close is that to psychopathy?
What's
I
psychopathy?
don't know that word.
As a psychopath.
Oh, I mean,
Like a sociopath would love to abuse that to be able to get away with all sorts of manipulations. Because
Yeah, are you murdering and undoing murder? Just to say I have killed someone with my hands, but
yeah, like
well, I want to feel it.
Yeah, like the trope
But
from
I
movies,
didn't actually do
trope
it.
from movies where you see a character do something and you see them violently stab somebody to death, and it's like, oh, they were just thinking about it the whole time. There are people that would be like, oh, that happens once in a while because life's stressful. There's people that would seek that out and get pleasure from that.
It would be a Westworld scenario.
Yes. How close? Yeah, how far? How advanced until you get to a Westworld? And then how do you keep people that would negatively affect their real life? How do you keep that away from?
See, I'm thinking like,
How do you make it?
wow.
How do you make them not want to save scum? Put it that way.
Right. You wouldn't.
You'd have to remove
See,
the experiences they experience too with the save scum, so you don't actually
in
get
my,
that
in my
satisfaction.
fantasy, I'm the only one who has this. No one else has it. Right? That's the fantasy.
It's a click scenario.
if you want to go
Yes.
back to what we were thinking about earlier, you have to allow save staters to be save scummers, for that is what free will decides.
That's what
Free play, if we're going to stay within the realm of game.
that's what Jesus would want, is what you guys are saying.
Man, this went some places. This is
Jesus
fun.
versus Ryu. Let's get back to that.
I would watch that. Yeah. Oh man.
I think we should wrap it up.
I think
this
so.
is incredible. Basically, we found out that when you start to think about getting everything you want, inevitably you get to religion and dystopian futures. So
That's why both of them were invented, as far as I know.
So I hope
Religion stop you from running away with progress, to the detriment of everyone, including yourself. Dystopian futures, likewise. They don't write about utopian futures without dystopian underpinnings,
right.
because then you'd just be like, yeah, I want this world that's in this book. My life sucks now because it's not this world.
the
That's in
road
this
to
book.
hell is paved with gold. Is it the same thing?
Good intentions.
Good intentions.
Well, I would like to wish everyone,
I was thinking of the Yellow Brick Road.
all of our viewers, for this holidays, I hope you get some of your dreams come true. Not all, some of your dreams.
I hope all of your dreams come true.
Ooh. How about you?
I hope you have the option to get all of your dreams to come true, but choose not to because you value stress and healthy stress and seeing what you can make of the world. Thank you for giving us all the games on our wish list.
Thank you, video game people. Yes.
Yeah. Good job. See you next time.
We'll see you.
Bye.
YUNKJunk!